I had no idea that I had such a proclivity for blue pens. Like I specifically got up and went away just so I could get a blue pen because there's a pink pen right here and a black pen right here, but I wanted a blue pen.
I'm a black pen guy.
So we're fighting. So fuck me then because you're a black pen guy. What?
Yeah, fuck you.
Seriously, you're shitting all over. What's wrong with blue pens?
Yeah, black pens.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
That's how I feel about you and your black pens, Patrick O'Dowd.
Yeah. We like what we like. The heart wants what the heart wants.
Well, we can agree to disagree. No, we'll agree to allow you to be wrong, Mr. Black Pen.
Oh, got you. Here's the real question. This is the important question. This is what I say to any middle-aged worker that has like the office setting. Like you, I think you work from home generally.
I do, unfortunately, yes.
But you still have a home office.
Yeah,
Do you have a go-to brand of pen?
Depends on what this is.
Is it the pen you're using now, or is it just that you like blue?
No, this is my favorite. So this is a Papermate profile ball.
See, and I am a Sharpie ballpoint pen, black pen fan.
There you go.
That's my jam.
I don't like the Sharpie pens. I don't.
So this is an actual ballpoint pen though. It's not.
Oh, see, I don't think I've used a Sharpie ballpoint pen.
Yeah, it's a Sharpie ballpoint. So it's a little different, but yes.
Well, I think I've used more of the Sharpie. There's the felt tippy, but then there's the more like inky. I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But it's not marker tip at all. Yeah. You do better than I do. No, I do like these. And trust me, I'm a wrestling promoter. Pens is a thing at every fucking show. Like, I need a pen. Do you have a pen? Do you have pens? I have an entire box of pens in one of our bins. It just slowly gets lower and lower and lower. Then I just buy another one.
I have the same thing. I have the same thing with the whole bowling treasurer secretary thing.
I'm sure.
I have a box of pens that I have to just keep replenishing because
you are
steal them.
What I know of you as a bowling secretary treasurer person, you are probably closer to being a wrestling promoter than you think. Believe it, based on the stories that you've told me. So
yeah, I'm sure there's a connection there, but I'm a man. I am a champion bowler.
You are a champion bowler, Patrick O'Dowd. You are the champions. I don't have that song, so we're not going to play it.
Okay.
But let's start the show.
He's a man.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Welcome to the Grown Ass Man podcast. It is Tuesday, July the 7th, 2026. I am Greg DeMarco. He is Patrick O'Dowd. We are two grown ass men talking about grown ass things like we're going to be doing today, Patrick O'Dowd. We are in the midst of the global phenomenon that is called the World Cup. And I wanted to talk about the World Cup today, not from an athletics or sporting standpoint, although it might happen. It might, but it's a meme that I saw early in the World Cup, and then it really is kind of true when you think about it. And I'm paraphrasing the meme because it was weeks ago and I don't remember, but basically it was just like, all it really takes to create world peace is 48 soccer teams. And there's this vision, and it goes along with the fact that all these people are coming to America, and they're going, and it's died down now because there were several weeks in the World Cup. And they're tweeting and posting all over the place about how they were led to believe that we are terrible and we're not. And one thing that I want the World Cup to teach people, and this is what you're not going to like, although you might, is that political strife in the world, it's kind of like, I don't want to put people in this bucket, but I'm going to. It's like the internet wrestling community. They think they represent everybody's opinion on wrestling, but really they don't. I think a good portion of the world really doesn't give a shit about the political strife and political warring and they just want to live their life, enjoy things. And that's what the World Cup is giving us. And it's allowing us to do it with people that maybe we're not supposed to like because of a political setting or countries fighting each other. Like, think about Russia, who can't be in the World Cup, right? They can't be in the World Cup. They can't compete in the Olympics, things of that nature. The people who are getting screwed over by they're getting screwed over by their own country, don't get me wrong. But the people who are not able to compete have zero to do with their country attacking another country.
That's not a hot take.
No, it's not a hot take, but it's like, is it even fair that they can't compete on these things? Now, I get it, because when Rebecca Lowe and Zoltan, who people are complaining about, and Alexi Lawless, who should shave his head. I mean, come on, give it up. And all these other things, like, then they talk about the team, they would talk about Russia. They would, and so the country would be front and center as it is in the World Cup. So I get it from that perspective, but the players on the team deserve better. They deserve better from their own nation. Yes. And their nation's leadership, but it's like less than half the citizens of our country voted for our president. Because and if the other candidate had won, less than half the citizens of our country voted for that person, because they don't all vote. And that's their own fault. And that's our own fault for those people who don't vote. And that's why I insist on voting, even if I don't vote traditionally. Meaning I don't just pick candidates based on alignment or anything like that. And I didn't even pick Republican or Democrat this time. Like, I picked the candidate who I thought was the best, because that's what we should do. And I hate the two-party system, but it's not going anywhere anytime before I die. So, but it's Donald Trump doesn't really represent America. He thinks he does. Many people think he does. Think he do. It's terrible. Many people in other countries definitely believe he does. And that's where I think the World Cup comes in, and we see these great nations and not these great nations. I shouldn't say that. All nations are great in their own way, and all nations suck in their own way. I'm sure. I don't know, because I haven't been to many of them. We're seeing these great people from these nations who should be more representative of their countries than their country's political leaders are. And that's what the World Cup is. Now, it's also salient because it only happens once every 4 years. Right. So there's that aspect as well.
Unfortunately, the world we live in, like, and not just the world we live in, but the way that information is given to people,
yes,
is hyper focused on a select few. Right. Like, it is generally, like, when you think of a country in many regards, somebody like Russia, for example, people think of Putin. United States, they think of Trump. Britain, they think of actually not the prime minister, because you probably can't tell me who the prime minister of Great Britain is, because I don't know who the prime minister of Great Britain is, but I know who King Charles is. 900 years old King Charles, or his sons, Prince Harry and William, and that. And so that's part of it. And I think it's really interesting to look at that side of it. And, and Tony, who's been on Four Corners a couple of times and has talked about this in terms of just seeing people experience just sort of what living in the United States is like. And sort of it's usually the cultural shock stuff, right? Like, like, one of my favorite videos that I saw is, I don't remember what country the fan is from, but the concept of free refills for soda was
I think that person was Japanese.
No, this dude was definitely a European.
Okay.
The Japanese person was the chips. The
chips and salsa.
They kept considering chips a gift, so they kept feeling like they had to eat it all or it would be rude, and they ate like 4 baskets of chips and they couldn't eat their enchilada or whatever it was. This guy got a Coke, learned that he could drink it all, and they would just refill it for free. So he did, and his friend's like, "Why are you doing this? You're going to feel terrible. You never drink Coke like this." He's like, "Because it's free and I can." and he did, like, so that sort of stuff, and like the Tartan Army in Boston sort of thing. And what's really funny is how Boston really embraced it, and then they went to Miami, and Miami was like, "Fuck you guys," which was kind of funny, especially with the road cone thing. Like, the road cone thing on statues did not go over as well in Miami as it did in Boston, apparently, to the point where, you've got the governor declaring haggis as quote unquote legal for a week while Scotland was in the World Cup. And so that, I think, has always been true. I think that there are plenty, like there's a reason I can go to Florida and not be like Florida's a a shithole. There are things that exist and are like laws and that folks hold opinions to that I couldn't live in Florida, but
Right.
the visit and understanding why people why there's an appeal there and why there are great things about Florida. There's great things about everywhere. There's nothing there, but there's great things about Kansas. I'm sure of it.
I'm sure there are too. Yes, I'm sure there are great things about Kansas.
So yeah, I think that you're onto something when it comes to that piece of it, that folks do see that, human beings are existing in a different sort of reality than what gets put out by the dude who falls asleep at every cabinet meeting.
It just shows you that what you see in the media isn't always real, even though the media is saying some of this too. And B, and I'm harping on this because it supports kind of my side of things. Like, some people think I'm crazy when I talk about how I don't care about politics. They do. And I get that. You can think I'm crazy. You can think whatever, but I truly just want to live my life and enjoy it and have fun. And that's what I'm seeing out of this World Cup. And I hope people can do that, but still understand there are important things going on in the world, and there are important things that are going to happen, and there are important things that they need to be able to still recognize and acknowledge. And I can do better about that as well. But at the same time, it's going to go on, and the world is going to go on. And if we spend all of our time locked up in this political strife and political whatever, we're going to miss the things that are beautiful and the things that are amazing about the world, despite all the bullshit. That's all I have on that topic. Patrick might be frozen, or just really deep in thought, because you can't see it as the listener, but he was it froze on a thinking face. And so he was very, very deep in thought. So
yeah, I was deep in thought about how your face froze. It's crazy because I am showing great Wi-Fi.
Me too.
Now. I'm showing full bars. So I am blaming the interface. That's what I'm saying. So fuck you, interface.
The interface sounds like the name of a wrestling faction.
It could be. It could be the next dumb thing that comes.
The next dumb thing.
Yeah, wrestling's dumb right now. Wrestling is so dumb right now.
We're not a wrestling show anymore. We're a show about grown-ass men talking about grown-ass man things.
Grown-ass men are really showing their asses, and not in the grown-ass man sort of way these days. It's just kind of... It's true. It's fascinating to me. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, we drive people out of Twitter.
Who left Twitter this time?
Paul Walter Hauser, or what is it?
You know what? I saw him during WrestleMania weekend. I saw him wrestle. I was impressed by him. And now the more I hear him, the more I think he just likes to hear himself talk.
Oh yeah, it's very clear. And
says the guy who's hosting a podcast. But still,
But I want to thank him, and I told you I wanted to thank him because he did, for a week, enter Nick Bockwinkel into the wrestling discourse.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because you did tell me you wanted to speak on this.
So, for those of you who don't know, Paul Walker, whatever his name is, Paul Walter Hauser, basically said that young wrestlers today aren't watching Nick Bockwinkel while learning their craft. And I'm sure he just pulled Nick's name out of the air in making a flip statement about who young wrestlers are watching and wanting to be inspired by when learning their craft. And boy, did some of the old heads really get worked up over that, to the point where there were so many people posting videos and old footage of my guy anybody who's listened to us podcast on any level knows that I love me some Nick
Bockwinkel.
A AWA fan that I was. He was Mr. AWA. He was he's Vern Gagne's son-in-law, for God's sakes. Like, he was the guy. He was one of the most trusted guys. He put Hogan over in the infamous test to see how it would go. And then, of course, if you hear Hogan's story of it, then Vern went behind his back and didn't trust his brother and all that. But who cares? And part of that's kind of true, because Vern was also not exactly known for trusting people outside of his son and Nick Bockwinkel. So, and Larry,
which is really funny if you think about his son ended up losing his job at WCW.
Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe Zbyszko was his son-in-law and Bockwinkel was just close. I can't remember, but like they were all tight. And now Greg Gagne, also fascinating listening, because that dude thinks he's way more important than he was. But for me, it was just nice. And if it did lead to some young wrestlers going back and checking out, Bach with Bobby Heenan and in an old AWA ring, talking about Mad Dog Vachon and how terrible Mad Dog was for the sport, because this was a gentleman's sport, and anybody with any level of intelligence could understand that you don't put somebody with that protuberance of a bite out there into the middle of a ring where somebody such as himself could be sullied with and then Bobby Heenan would come in and talk about, well, you know what you do with a dog that misbehaves? You slap it in the face with a newspaper and you tell it to settle down. It was a beautiful thing. And so, yay. I hope that I thank you, Paul Walter Hauser, for making people talk about Nick Bockwinkel for a week. Everybody has forgotten about it now. That time has passed, because that's the shelf life of an internet story. But for a glorious week, Greg, one of my all-time favorites was back in the spotlight. Rest his soul. Just made me happy.
I felt like your soliloquy deserves some music. I don't have Nick Bockwinkel music, so the Rick Martel music had to do.
It's a good second. It's a good close second.
But what's funny is that anybody listening to this show for the Grown Ass Man content and not from wrestling just thinks this is background music.
Right.
It's actually great. This would be phenomenal in an elevator.
Oh, wonderful. It's perfect.
That might be a good name for the show. Phenomenal in an elevator. Let me write that down. The great thing about this too is we can take notes or whatever and not talk, and then music's playing. I'm moving this up the list of sound that we use, because this is now show fodder. This song is now good show fodder.
Thanks, Rick. Miss you.
We do miss Rick Martel. I wish Rick Martel would return to the wrestling business.
Just accept the Hall of Fame induction, man.
Just
accept it.
I would watch the Hall of Fame speech for Rick Martel. I want to go back to something you were saying about Greg Gagne. And you talked about how in the modern day he thinks he's way more important than he was, and people want to hear his opinion, whatever. That's how I feel every time I read an article about Bully Ray's comments. And people will argue with me, but because we talked about this a week you couldn't do with the show back when we did the Greg DeMarco show. I think it was the last Greg DeMarco show. We'll need to do another one someday so you can be in the last Greg DeMarco show. But when I was on with Tunney and Andrew, and they were arguing me that Bully Ray does deserve to be at the level he kind of puts himself at. And I don't believe that, but that's not where I'm at anyway.
And to be clear, you're not saying that Bully Ray doesn't have something of value.
Correct.
To say.
I don't think he is I still think he says things with self-interest. And I think he believes he should be working for one of the big companies. And maybe he could. And maybe he could contribute at a high level. The last thing I will say about Paul Walter Hauser is this. He, to me, is to in-ring wrestling what Tony Khan is to promoting wrestling.
Right.
He used a different way to get in the business and said, me, the guy who lied his way into the business many years ago. But I've earned it since then. So
this is a guy that I knew more for... the Karate Kid,
right?
Or not for the Karate Kid. Sorry,
Cobra Kai. Yeah,
and
he's been in other things. And yeah.
He has done other stuff. By the way, Larry Zbyszko is the son-in-law of Vern Gagne. I wasn't indeed incorrect. Married Vern's daughter. in 1988.
There you go. Larry Zbyszko. It's funny because wrestlers like that, Larry Zbyszko, Nick Bockwinkel, so many others, fit the profile of the modern day version of this program. Very much. Like
Right. Well, yeah.
They really do. They really, really do. So I
almost shared with you something that I thought you would appreciate. And I know, again, we're trying to get away from wrestling, but in the wake of the news of the Sheamus not choosing not to re-sign a structured deal or whatever, somebody posted a statement on X, I'm assuming, that was just like, I don't remember people getting this upset when the WWE released Greg Valentine, Tito Santana, just like this list of like the upper mid card dudes that are departing in these restructured deals, and somebody was just like, well, it wasn't the late 90s, or it wasn't the early 90s, and that was the
here's the thing too.
Nobody did care.
When there was no internet, nobody did care. If you read about it in a wrestling magazine, it was 3 months old. Because we were just watching squash matches on Wrestling Superstars. Tito Santana just stopped showing up. And then 6 months later, we're like, what the fuck happened to Tito Santana? Like, it literally, like, you just forgot about him because he's out of sight, out of mind. There wasn't somebody yelling into a microphone on a podcast being like, and then let Tito Santana go. How could they possibly let Tito Santana? And it's like, yeah, they let Tito Santana. Tito Santana was almost Hulk Hogan. Like, they were going to push Tito at one point. So
he really believed in that El Matador gimmick, though. And I was just like, man.
I don't think he did. I think that's just how good of a performer Tito was.
No, he's done. I mean, obviously, doing interviews you could lie, but like
writing books you could lie.
I've heard more than one interview of him talking about that El Matador gimmick and talking about how excited he was about what he thought that push was going to be, and I was like, I'm like, okay, man. I mean, I don't know that you should believe that, but but okay.
Now, did he believe the gimmick like he thought it was like the ticket?
This is the weird thing, and I don't know if you can still hear me.
I can.
But, I keep losing your audio before I go full freeze. And so you'll be talking a little bit.
Okay.
And then I'll be like, oh, here it goes. Because you were talking about something in response to what I said.
So my question about Tito was, did he believe in the gimmick like he thought it was his ticket to the top?
And that's hard to say.
Okay.
It's been years since I've watched these interviews, so I don't want to misquote it, but he did think it would be a bigger deal than it was. Is what I remember was the takeaway.
So basically what you're saying is that despite my comments on Bully Ray, I should trust his opinion on modern wrestling over Tito Santana.
You should, because Bully Ray has wrestled in the last decade and a half.
And Bully Ray probably would tell you that El Matador was not a good idea and was not going to get Tito Santana back to the main event, even on the house show circuit where Tito would frequently main event. And I've been to house shows that Tito was on as a kid. And let me tell you, brother was over.
Oh yeah. He didn't need to.
No, he didn't.
He also claims that he was originally supposed to be the one to take on the model gimmick, the heel model gimmick, but he got hurt.
Interesting.
Right.
Very interesting.
I've heard that in an interview as well. So
Tito would main event house shows. My first ever house show I went to, the main event was Terry Funk versus the Junkyard Dog. Mid-card mania it was, but man, Dog had us going nuts. JYD was the shits in the good way. He was the good shit.
That's outstanding. It's fun to get nostalgic. We've been doing that a lot on Bandwagon Nerds, by the way. I don't know if you've caught this. This past week was a little less exciting, but the week before, Greg, I actually would like to ask you. Okay. So we're doing these drafts, right? We're drafting top television intros.
Okay.
For these decades, and we categorize the decades, and we did children's / family programming is always the first week of the draft. That's just how the system is. And so we drafted our top children slash.
Ah, he froze again. Patrick is frozen. He'll come back. And when he comes back, we'll figure out what he was going to ask me. Because I know it was a very pertinent question. And I'm excited to ask it when the time comes. He is back. So finish your question.
Where did you leave off?
Children and family, or family and children. You hadn't yet asked me for anything.
If you were to pick like the best 80s children slash family programming intro. So not the show, but like what intro was like as child Greg was like a banger of all bangers.
Okay. There's two now without doing any research because I was not prepared for this, which is probably a good thing.
I sprung it on you. Grown ass man's got to be ready for anything.
It's true. That's true. I'm going to put that in the show opening when I make a better show opening. There's two that immediately came to mind. That immediately jumped into my head. And the reason for one is going to be obvious. The reason for the other one. So that tells me the one I'm going to say second is probably the real answer. Number one is the theme from He-Man.
That was Dave Ungar's first pick.
That immediately comes to mind. Now, there's recency bias there. Because I love the movie.
Fun to watch.
I love the movie. It was great. It deserves more praise, whatever.
It too.
So I think my best answer is probably the second one that popped into my head. And that would be the bright-eyed and bushy-tailed DuckTales.
That was Tunney's second pick.
That's the first one without any outside influence from a recent movie that popped into my head. And the third one was Reading Rainbow.
That was Tunney's first pick.
So Tunney and I are very much on the same page.
Tunney, you and I did not connect at all. No, Tunney went Reading Rainbow, DuckTales, and then the Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, I never would have thought of that. Not that I don't like it. I can't even hear. Okay, Inspector. Oh, God, you just brought another one. Inspector Gadget, I can hear in my head. Yep.
The Smurfs.
La, 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 la. Yeah.
Right. So Dave went He-Man, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
The Bugs and Tweety Hour.
Okay.
And then he lost me but I get it. He went Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. Sorry, no, just not a banger. And
I can envision the show. I can't envision the theme.
Right. And then Thundar the Barbarian, which was a 1981 Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Wow.
That he picked it, and I was like, dude, that went one season, and like,
did it even have a theme song?
It did.
I know.
Hanna-Barbera, low-key, some banger theme songs, but one of the big rules was the show had to have an episode of the 80s, like an originally run episode in the 80s, and a lot of Hanna-Barbera was 60s and 70s.
Right.
I had G.I. Joe, the Transformers, Thundercats, Fraggle Rock, and the Muppet Babies.
At Scorecraft Academy.
Wow. That's impressive.
At Scorecraft Academy?
No, I pulled one up, and this is the one. This is my legitimate favorite ever song. Let's see if it plays.
Oh yeah.
What is it? What is it?
Hold on. You
give me
it off.
I did. I wanted to see if you knew it. Because that would have been in 6 seconds. I'll keep going.
Danger Mouse.
He's the greatest. He's fantastic.
I wanted to make sure I was
He's the ace.
He's amazing.
Nickelodeon.
He's the strongest, he's the quickest, he's the
Best.
So here's the thing that was really interesting with me about Danger Mouse, Inspector Gadget, all those Nickelodeon shows from the 80s. When I was a kid, my family's cable provider didn't have Nickelodeon. So here's what would happen though, is it turned my mom's mom, my grandma, it turned her house into this magical place as a child because she had Nickelodeon. And if we went to my grandma's house and I asked nice enough and none of the I was like the youngest cousin for a long time. I could get Nickelodeon on, and I would watch. You Can't Do That on Television.
Mhm.
Double Dare.
Oh yeah.
Danger Mouse, Inspector Gadget, Mr. Wizard's World, Pinwheel. That's where you learned about picture pages with Bill Cosby, though we don't talk about Bill Cosby anymore because he's like Bruno, except worse. All those Nickelodeon shows.
He's like Bruno,
were-
except worse.
All of those shows on Nickelodeon were like special to me, and it was like this huge deal when we finally got Nickelodeon at home, and I could watch because Nickelodeon replaced The Price is Right during the day when I was sick, and you
Mhm.
get stuck with Nick Jr. for the longest time. You're like watching David the Gnome, but like it was programming aimed for children, so I sat through it, even if I was in like 7th or 8th grade. And David the Gnome slaps. Don't be sleeping on David the Gnome.
I don't even remember David the Gnome.
Oh, his show literally ended with him and his wife dying.
Oh my
great.
goodness. That
Well, they
sounds
like
terrible.
leave the forest and go to like gnome heaven or some shit
Oh,
like
okay.
that. They say goodbye to their fox. It's a whole thing.
Poor Fox.
Are you? Well, the fox moved on. There will be other gnomes. Sure,
True.
Not David, but I was like, are you looking for more?
No, I'm taking notes.
Uh,
We're gonna pick the show name later because now I've got at least 2 candidates for the show
There
name.
you go.
That's good shit. See, even on the Grown Ass Man podcast, we can just go off the rails because we did not talk about the World Cup thing as long as I thought we would, so it doesn't matter.
Well, because you said you didn't really want to talk about the sports side of it too much. You just kind of want to talk about like how the world.
I thought we would talk about the human side of it more than we did, and there is some cool stuff. Like, here's the problem that I have with the World Cup, and it's a facetious problem. It's not a real problem. I'm going to write that down as a possible show title as well.
Yeah.
I can't go to Capo Verde now for at least 5 years because it's going to be too fucking expensive.
Because everybody's gonna check it out.
They literally, because I guess the last World Cup, some countries' tourism skyrocketed, and this year it's going to be Cape Verde, and good for them.
It's really interesting.
Good for them.
Well, and was it where we worked together? No, I can't remember if it was UConn or where I'm at currently, UMass. There's a big population out here in New England though of Cape Verdeans. Like there's a ton. I think it's UMass. There's a ton of like when they were successful, and the fact that they made the knockout stage was like people on my timeline going crazy for that was like,
and pushed
I do love
Argentina
that.
to the limit.
Right. Well, I keep wondering if Argentina just keeps playing with its food.
I think so.
They pulled one out against Egypt too, and so we'll see. I guess I don't know. You're frozen on my screen again, but I can hear you.
We can hear you too. Yeah, you're frozen on the screen, but we can hear you.
Yes, I love this stuff. This is what makes me want to go to the phone. By the way.
Yeah, it's weird. And I knew the way things were freezing up on Riverside, and Riverside is doing more online. We had to go with the Zoom today. And even that has had its problems, its challenges. So, I love the World Cup itself has just been a great human story. Like there's just so many good people, so many athletes that we never hear about, especially like the goalkeeper for Cape Verde, like 40 years old. Was driving Uber. He didn't turn pro till he was 25. Like he had no current offers to be on clubs. Now I guess Inter Miami is looking at him like,
Right.
That's what they do.
I
Supposedly
think
Messi was
the
like,
other-
we need this guy. So that's,
Well,
and that's rumor.
They
Who
had a
knows?
great moment. God, sorry.
Oh, bless you, Patrick O'Dowd with
I
the
was
sneeze
trying
that
to- I was trying to
now
get-
sounded like a dog barking, but it was a sneeze.
I was trying to get to the mute button in time, but I just couldn't get it.
Couldn't get
Any
there.
other time, I would have frozen up, and you wouldn't have. Heard
I know,
it.
right? The one time we hear him loud and clear is when he has to sneeze.
Exactly. No pop.
No pop. I do. Messi and him had an interaction after the match was over too, where he talked about Messi was like, you played a great game, you kept a great game. This is congratulating him, and the goalkeeper was like can I have your jersey? And Messi was like, yeah. And he gave him his jersey. So that was a great story. I do love, like, as much as I'm tired, like that people are like, oh, we're tired of Argentina. Like, whatever. Like, this could be the last time you see Messi on this stage. Watch it. It's we got to say goodbye to Ronaldo this year. Like, this was his last World Cup. And
Neymar, yeah.
Neymar from Brazil. This was his last World Cup. There's a lot of greats that are, in the game that it won't be back in 4 years. The thing that I do find unfortunate is how quickly the American audience is going to move away from this now that the United States is out.
And that's what I wonder. Like, and I don't know, games like, first of all, why the hell was Argentina's game today on so early? Like, I don't understand that. I know some of the influence, I guess, on game times had to do with the countries they were from, but
right.
Like, it's just, yeah.
Who won the second game today? Did we? I
don't know who won, but I know it went to PKs. It was a 0-0 draw, went to PKs, and it was an upset, I think. Let me look. Hang on. So I will tell you. Won? Switzerland won. They beat Colombia. 4-3 in PKs. Oh. Yeah.
Argentina's going to love that.
Yeah, nils in regulation, and then 4-3 in PKs. So, have you ever heard of the fist pump game in college football?
No.
So, my son, who we'll talk about in future episodes, I'm sure, just recently he downloaded his pre-order of NCAA Football 27, which just came out. Now, funny story, he realized yesterday he could download it. He's actually been able to download it since the 2nd, and he just didn't know it was available. But he's home, he's hanging out, he's chilling, so he's good. And I sent him, there's different achievements that you can get in the game. And it's you can achieve different things. And trophies. This one, trophies. And the fist pump game is featured in NCAA, and it's weird that the fist pump game, which took place in 2014, is in the game. And you'll know why I care about the fist pump game so much. And I'll send you this afterwards. But there's an achievement in CFB 27 called Fist Pump that you can earn by sending a game into overtime tied 0-0, inspired by the 2014 classic, in quotes, between Wake Forest and Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's so famous is because Wake Forest missed a field goal at the end of regulation that caused Frank Beamer to pump his fists in celebration that he didn't lose and got to go to overtime, where Virginia Tech lost 9-3 or 6-3 or something like that in overtime. So now there is a fist pump trophy you can get. Send game to OT with a 0-0 tie in CFB 27.
So did he do it? Did he try to do it intentionally? Did he get it?
He has not gotten it yet. No. It's real hard to go. It's harder to go 0-0 in that game than it is to go like 100-100. Yeah. And at the time, 0.23% of gamers had unlocked this. And the thing about these achievements is that they don't tell you what they are ahead of time until they're discovered. Right. So now they might leak certain things, or whatever. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I am familiar with the achievement system.
More than I am.
Well, it's so bonkers. Like, every video game you download now or that you buy has these achievements, these like cookies or whatever for people to earn. And even games where it doesn't make any sense. For example, I downloaded a PlayStation game I used to play religiously 20 years ago, back in my collegiate youth, if you will, 20 plus years ago, game called Final Fantasy Tactics. It is a tactical role-playing game that's all it is. And yet that game came with achievements when I downloaded it. And some of the achievements were like, you finished this chapter, because that's, one of the things that you do with games with levels. But then it would be like all these like mundane just things you would do in the game normally to kind of like pump your team up. And it was just, I don't know, it was dumb. Doesn't need it. I understand why people like them. I know, the little O'Dowd loves having his achievements on Steam. So
Right. See, they keep you going.
How do
Yeah,
you-
they keep you going.
how do you feel about Sony announcing they're going to stop production of discs in 2028?
It's funny because, I think where people got really upset about this isn't even necessarily Sony, but when people were ordering Grand Theft Auto 6, which is finally coming out in November till it gets delayed again. And their physical copy that they're getting is going to be a case with a code inside.
Right.
Like it sucks. I hate it. But it's just a natural progression. Give it a few years. These discs will come back. They'll be cool, just like vinyl is. So,
right.
Like my 17-year-old daughter, as she gets ready to go off to college, she's talking about things that are going to be her thing, and she's thinking about getting into vinyl. So you just never know. I told her, and she wanted to buy some vinyl at a store one day, and I was like, no, you can't. And she was like, why not? I said, if you're going to get into vinyl, there's only one thing I require of you. And of course, she's going to go off to college, and I can't really tell her shit, but there's only one thing I require of you. You have to have a record player.
Right. You got to have a turntable.
I don't care if you don't use it because you don't want to hurt you don't want to, whatever, but you have to at least have it.
Right.
Like they make cool retro ones.
And just buy something that you don't give a shit if it gets damaged, just to hear something on vinyl, because it is a unique, different.
It is.
Sound. Like,
it is.
I
was
very
the very next day after my daughter and I were looking at vinyl. We were driving in the car and we were listening to Phoenix radio station 94.5, which plays a lot of 80s. And Duran Duran's "Hungry Like the Wolf" came on, and it just popped into my head because we're talking about vinyl. One of the first records I got as a kid was a 45 of that song, "Hungry Like the Wolf" by Duran Duran.
Nice. See, and I missed the vinyl era as one of those people where it was like valuable to buy vinyl. I was I was generation cassettes.
Yeah.
So like I had the Walkman. We're the same age, so it's not like we're that different. I had a turntable on my first stereo, and I would listen to. That's how I got into Queen, because Wayne's World comes out, and the Bohemian Rhapsody video gets re-released with the Wayne's World footage. I'm like, I love this, and then my old man is like, well, if you love this, and he pops open the stereo, and he's got all of the Queen albums from like the 70s that were of value back then. And so I would listen to those. They basically made their way into my room at the end of our little ranch home. And I listened to Night at the Opera by Queen, fucking religious. The first album I ever bought was Dark Side of the Moon. I got it at a record thrift store for like $2. And that was the first vinyl I bought. And then I have a whole stack of vinyl in my office right now with the turntable, because I need a speaker to hook it up to make sure it works right.
I miss so when I was in high school, I put together a stereo of like the receiver. No one even knows what a receiver is anymore. Like it's hilarious. And I had the layer that had the dual cassette tape. I had the 6 CD changer part of it. I had the big speakers. They came to college with me. We eventually got rid of them through moves because we're really good at purging. And then it makes me sad because like I saw like a video of one or whatever, and I was like, oh man, that would be amazing. But yeah, I missed that. I missed that a lot. So I do miss it. When Patrick unfreezes, we'll find out what he wants to say to us, and I'll be extremely excited about it to bring it to you all because we're right up his alley. Nostalgia is fun, and we're always going to talk about nostalgia on this program. So I started talking about I talked about putting together the stereo. You started talking, but none of what you said came out. So I want the people to hear it.
Got you. Just did I still have the stereo with the 50 disc carousel when we were? I'm trying to remember.
You might have.
I had that. I think I may have had it in my office because it was not allowed to stay in the house. Like the wife, Mrs. O'Dowd was like, no, but yes, okay, yeah, I think I did because I think I had that up until early in my UMass time here before MP3s came along and just took it over and you listen to everything on your iTunes. But it was a 51 disc carousel that I just had loaded, and you just hit shuffle. You hear it sounded like a jukebox, just whirring around. Play a tune, pull it back out. You'd wait like 5 minutes for the next song to play.
Because 50's a lot. You gotta like keep track of what's in there. Like it's just I did,
and every once in a while you go through and you make some decisions. You're like, I haven't switch them out.
Because I had the 6, but like the 50. I remember when cars would have the 6 disc changer either under the seat or in the trunk. No, in the trunk.
Oh, no. I remember the cartridge one. Like where you pull out it was a little cartridge, you pull one out, you put it 6 discs in, close it up, and just thunk it in. It was like an 8-track player with CDs. Kids, 8-track players.
Oh my God, I remember those.
Predecessor to a cassette. Your parents' parents had these giant suitcases that had this big foam base with big rectangles filled with what looked like tapes, but they were really 8-tracks that nobody actually knew how they worked. They just knew they shoved that thing in their stereo.
It was the same concept as VHS, really, but
right, yeah.
Which we'll talk about that some other day. But that's so I think one of the things about this program, this is Grown Ass Man podcast number 2, by the way, is we are going to develop ongoing things that we talk about and maybe even weekly stuff. And I do think nostalgia needs to be one of those. We need to have like a nostalgia topic of the week. So my wonderful blue pen is not writing.
That's because you picked a blue pen instead of a black pen.
You can't do this, Patrick O'Dowd. You can't do this to the blue pen.
Like a carousel. It goes up and down and
around. Feel the flow.
Working it. Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
So we're going to have ongoing gags that I want to talk about on this program. And they'll eventually get their own introductions. Like there's a lot of things we're going to do. It's going to grow over time. So I'm going to use this introduction for a weekly segment that I want to do. You don't have to participate, because I didn't tell you we were going to do this. Okay. I've had this in the back of my head for like 3 weeks now, so it's not even of the week for this week, but it's still salient. In fact, it came back up again this past weekend. So I'm going to intro it, and then we'll go into what it is.
It's time!
It is time for the Grown Ass Man moment of the week. Maybe be the grown ass moment of the week. I don't know. So it's a moment of the week where we did something very grown ass man-esque. Should be funny, should be whatever, and it can launch us talking about some other things. So I've told the story on our podcast before, back when we worked at the University of Connecticut, and it's a fun story to tell. I play poker every Thursday. Right? Played poker every Thursday. Tried to get Patrick into it. Gave up like a month in because just like getting Patrick to write for the website, he just wasn't going to fucking play poker. Stop asking. And I did. And he stopped. And we were still friends. But one time I was late to poker night because I was getting my hair cut. And I still remember this story. And I told it even recently on the Greg DeMarco show because I come back and because I always got my haircuts it's like every other Thursday. And somebody was like, "You get your haircut every other week?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I get my haircut every other week." And one of the gentlemen that I was playing poker with, husband of somebody we worked with, super nice guy. As you guys know, carry over from the Greg DeMarco show, we always change the names to protect the innocent. So we'll call him Peter to protect the innocent. We'll call him Peter, Pete for short. Just looked at everybody at the table who was making fun of me for getting my haircut every other week. He was bald. He was balding. He was only a few years older than us. And it was just like, I wish I had to go get my haircut every other week. So again, and here I am, late 40s, haircut every week. Got my haircut a couple weeks ago. Got it cut again this past Friday. But after the haircut, they do the steam towel, the wash, everything, lay back. She gets the towel ready. She puts it on. She was like, "Is that towel too hot? Or is it too hot?" And it immediately popped into my head, grown ass man moment. I don't care if it was on fire. I was never going to say the towel was too hot. Like, I don't care what temperature it is. No, it's great. It's great. I could be cringing. I could be hurting. I could be putting a sock in my mouth, trying to bite down hard from the pain. In no way am I admitting if the towel was too hot. And it was quite warm. I'm not going to lie. It was quite warm. But no, perfect. Absolutely perfect.
I got something similar.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get back on track with my physical activity, my
good.
walking, because it's been off track. It's the old health has been impacted, and it is today, literally today. This whole week since the heat wave broke out here has just been rain all day.
That's the worst.
I come walking back in from my walk, which I get in around 10,000 steps.
Good.
When I do this, somewhere in that neighborhood. That's usually 8 to 10 is
all in one shot or accumulated throughout the day.
The one I get most of it in one shot, but it is like, for example, today I am sitting at a little low. I'm only at 9,026, so didn't get as much other walking, mostly because of the weather. But I'm crushing the average of what I normally have.
Very
what
nice.
I've been doing since the last year. I'm about 4,000 steps up on what I was doing last year.
Very good.
So good deal. But anyway, I come walking in. I look like a fucking drowned cat, right? And one of my coworkers looks at me and they're like, "Oh, it must be pretty rough out there." And I just dead ass, "It's not that bad."
Exactly.
Kept on. I was miserable. Like, it was miserable.
No, you weren't. You were fine. You were absolutely perfect.
I was like, no, I got to do that. It's like, dead ass. Yeah, that's fine.
And I remember joking with the lady that cuts my hair regularly about that one time, telling her back when she worked at Sport Clips. Now she has her own place or her own private salon thing where it's just a one, which that's like a level of not luxury, but like uppityness that I have now. It's like sport Clips.
You have your own hairdresser.
I have my own. Even then, I always went to the same person, but like I didn't even know there were these places where stylists could rent their own like room and cut out of until she went there. And I'm just like, this is great. Like, and her side's almost always empty. Like, it's crazy. So I'm fascinated by the barbering haircutting world now. And I'm never going to get into it, but like, I'm fascinated by it. Cause she wants to start her own place. She wants to do all that. At some point we'll shill things for her.
She's got dreams.
She does. She's fantastic too. Does a great job.
We all have dreams.
And she gets it. I've told her plenty of times. She's like, "Oh, I got my logo this." I'm just like, every advertisement for your thing needs to have your face on it. And she's like trying to realize, you know, clientele's men, like fucking do it. And then I told her one time, I was just like, the towel will never be too hot. The pressure on the head massage will never be too hard. Like, it's just not a thing. It's just ego steps in and you're like, nope, not too hot. Not too hot at all. Fuck, I think I'm burning, but it's not too hot. It's fine. I got 3rd-degree burns that are going to scar me forever, but it's fine. It's absolutely fine. So that is your first ever grown ass moment of the week. See, even the shortened World Cup topic, we're now 53 minutes into the show. So
we know how to fill time. We talked about all kinds of things. We talked a little wrestling. We talked
trying not to
80s cartoon intros.
We got into vinyl. We got into all kinds of good stuff. It's like, I was worried. I was worried for a while there that we wouldn't get into it.
You said your first album was, or your first single was the Duran Duran.
Yeah.
What was your first album? Like, what was the first album you remember buying?
I don't know if it was. I'm pretty sure my first album was Bon Jovi's "Slippery When Wet."
Mine was New Jersey.
Okay. My first cassette tape was either Poison. I don't know the name of the album, but it had "Every Rose Has Its Thorn" on it as a song. Or it was Beastie Boys' "License to Ill." And I think it was Beastie Boys' "License to Ill" was the first one that I got. I really love this background music.
It's very soothing.
It is like This is what I'm going to start playing after the grown ass moment for the end of the show. We're going to start using this.
Because everybody knows that after this podcast is over, it's Patrick's bedtime.
It's Patrick's bedtime, so we're just getting him ready.
This will just take me off to sleep. You know.
This is the winding down. This is the grown ass version of milk, of warm milk. This is the warm milk. Oh, that's how we should finish the show every week. We should have like the warm milk. Should be how we finish the show every week. We're building the plane as we're flying it here on the Grown Ass Man podcast.
Right. Sorry, I'm only thinking of Happy Gilmore though. I'm like,
right?
Can I trouble you for a glass of warm milk? It helps me sleep.
Trouble me for a glass of shut the hell up.
Shut the hell up.
I'm gonna get. And I want more sound bites for the show that aren't wrestling related, and I think we're gonna have to get that one too. So
that's a good one.
That is a good one. Wow. Ben Stiller. There's a meme out there right now that I saw where it's a picture of Ben Stiller, and it's like you can be still, but he's always, and then it's just a picture of him, Ben Stiller. So, speaking of still, Patrick Dowd is frozen yet again. So, what a day! What a day for freezing here in the warm Arizona weather.
Every time I go to text you something,
it comes back.
I'm trying to text in response to things you say. So when you were like, I was like, as still as I am. And
and that's the joke I used on air too.
Yep, so
I was like, right, it's like you've never been, you may be still, but he's always been stiller. And I'm like, speaking of still, Patrick Dowd is frozen again.
It's so weird because this doesn't happen during the podcast I do on when I record on Sunday afternoon.
Who knows?
Probably the time of day.
It could be that too. There's people watching TV in the house right now. Who the hell knows what's going on? Kid could be playing video games again. I don't know, but. Cool. He is Patrick O'Dowd at Wrestling Realist on the Twitter, WRESTLNGREALIST. I am at Greg DeMarco 44. Of course, this podcast is part of the Chairshot Radio Network, which you can hear at everybody's favorite website, thechairshot.com.
Thechairshot.com. Always use your head.
Thechairshot.com. Always use your head.
As we continue to grow and develop this show, we will put more content out on our Instagram at Grown Ass Man Pod. Haven't put much out there yet, but we will. So go ahead and give it a follow. Of course, you can follow the website on social media at Chairshot Media. It's thechairshot.com. Sports, entertainment, and sports entertainment, and so much more. That's where Patrick O'Dowd talked about Bandwagon Nerds. That's where you can find it. It's at Chairshot.com. When he does Four Corners, you know where you're going to find it at thechairshot.com. The trailer park. Patrick O'Dowd crafts a trailer park for Bandwagon Nerds every week, and the trailer park is now going to be an article on the website. I don't even know if I told you this yet. The trailer park is now dropping on Thursday of this week is the trailer park. And I'm supposed to tell you to start sending me the rundown every week so I have the links to the trailers so that I can put them out. Dave sent it to me this week.
Thanks, Tony.
No, that was actually a Dave thing. So It was my idea to turn the trailer park into an article since the subsite won't exist anymore, at least for right now. So I was like, all right.
Right.
I asked Dave about it.
The thing that there were two things we were doing on the subsite. One was the trailer park. The other is we were constructing YouTube playlists.
I need those two. I need those two.
I haven't dug up the links for those. I've just been sending the names of the shows.
Okay. Well,
you want the links too?
I do.
Well,
did you make the playlists?
No, I didn't.
I was told you made playlists. Okay.
No.
I was given bad information.
Yes, you were given bad information. I would just send on the name of the shows to the one who would then make the playlist.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll definitely get it figured out. But all things Grown Ass Man podcast. Patrick, when do you go off to Italy? When are we?
So you got me next week. You got me next week, and then it's the week after that I will be. So
when we record on the 21st of July and the 28th of July, right?
Yes.
2 Tuesdays, correct? 2 Tuesdays. All right. Yes. I've already got one person lined up. And we'll line up another one, and we'll make it happen. So. But that's 2 weeks from now. Next week, it's still Patrick O'Dowd. It's still Greg DeMarco. And it's still the Grown Ass Man podcast. Grown ass men talking about grown ass things. So go out there and remember, be a man.
He's a man. Such a man. Such a man. He's a real
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?